Long endurance athletes would use carbo loading to sustain their glycogen levels. You can see how athletes would do carbo loading from this diagram here. The body is tricked into thinking that they will not be getting glycogen for a while, and they store as much glycogen as they can. There are also gels which are eaten and used to make our body regain the energy which we've lost. The waste products from this type of exercise are water which is produced from our sweat and the increase of temperature of our body, and also carbon dioxide from our muscles working out and us breathing. These are released from our body by us breathing and also sweating to release the water buildup. These products of waste are naturally removed from our bodily functions, such as breathing out. Carbon dioxide travels in our blood in three ways. 3% of it is dissolved in the blood plasma, 23% in the carbohemoglobin, and 7% in the carbonic acid. The buildup of acid inside our body affects the calcium ions released from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. This means that the muscles will not be able to contract, as calcium is the trigger to start the contraction off. Without this, the muscles would not be able to work. This also means that there would be a small or weaker muscle contraction. During impulse, sodium rushes through the axon during an impulse down and the nerve. Potassium rushes outside the nerve to help it with preparing of the next impulse. With loss of potassium ions, it takes an impact on the ability to prepare itself properly for the next impulse. This impacts our impulse speed as they are slower or they are reduced. Cholinesterase is an enzyme that breaks down acetylcholine after this role and prepares it to be used again. For the next muscle contraction, the synaptic cleft must be clear of ACH by the enzyme. When there is an excess cholesterol, fatigue results from the inability to generate new action potential. Acetylcholine is required to transfer the nerve impulse across the synaptic gap and initiate muscle contraction. If there is insignificant ACH when it arrives at the receptor sites, muscle contraction cannot take place and fatigue will occur. Due to this, our performance takes an impact from this, and we are unable to work at the same level of intensity due to these factors. Over a long period of time, we see a drop in the intensity which we can work out. This type of exercise would typically be used in a very long distance event such as a marathon. This type of recovery would be a long and much more lactic acid type of recovery rather than lactic. As we work aerobically, we would not have a larger O2 deficit because we do not owe the body as much oxygen as we would if it was done anaerobically. This type of fatigue would generally be chronic, where it is a weakened immune system from excessive training or from a very long enduring exercise such as a marathon. This type of exercise would require a couple of days to replenish all our stores and to cover 100%. The lactic phase of our recovery would be replenishing our body with PC and ATP and also breathing more to supply oxygen to our body. The lactic acid would be the removal of lactic acid build-up and replenishing our glycogen stores. We're able to see the size of the epoch. It's much smaller than maximum intensity. The epoch is not as large as we are not in depth to our body as we are working anaerobically, which means the epoch is not as large. There are other ways of recovery also. These would include ice baths. This type of therapy helps to combat the tears in the muscle fibers and release the soreness of the muscles. This leads to vasoconstriction and it also decreases tissue metabolism. Another way of recovery would be an ice massage. This releases the lactic acid build-up whilst releasing the soreness of the muscles as well. The massage stimulates the muscles, making the lactic acid move and promote the breaking down of it.